here it is. The finished article. Well, somewhere near finished anyway. So the evening sun's in my eyes a little bit, but we'll do as best. I say nearly finished. The bodywork isn't quite there. A little bit more to do to the bodywork. I think it's beautiful as it is. But Rob, who's painted it, wasn't happy. And actually when I picked it up, it still wasn't finished. The lacquer was still wet when I picked it up. That's how last minute it was to get ready for the first race of the year. Now, if you watch the last video, you'll see how that went. We had some running issues. But anyway, so here it is. I'm going to give you a little guided tour, talk about what we've done, give us a few specs, and yeah, hopefully you all enjoy the video. Right, I've written down some of the important angles and lengths and dimensions. So it's important to say that the geometry is very specific to Flattrack. If you run this geometry on anything else, like on a street bike, you'll find it is horrible. It's only any good really for riding Flattrack. So the fork angle is about 23 degrees. The swing arm angle, another important factor, that's about 8 degrees as it sits now. With me on it, that will sag to about 6 or 7 degrees, depending how much sag we set up at that particular meeting. The yokes are quite a long offset, they're 60mm. That is to counteract how steep the fork angle is so that you get the right amount of trail. I haven't worked out the exact trail, but there's plenty of online calculators and things like that if you want to work that out for yourselves. So again, 23 degrees, 60mm of offset. The wheelbase is about 56.5 inches, or in modern terms about 1435 millimeters. And the swing arm length, it's a standard Ducati SS900 swinging arm, which is about 20 inches from pivot to axle. As we set at the minute, roughly in the middle of the adjustment, that gives it about 500mm. So to go through a few of the other bits, mainly about the swinging arm before we move up the bike, it is, like I say, standard 900 SS swinging arm. What we have done is opened the dropouts up and lengthened them slightly. Okay, so we'll have a little look at a few of the other bits, and I'll point things out to you as we go. So the things I've made, these adjusters, they are an aluminium block. There is an aluminium bobbin in there, that's to get the chain adjustment, and also set the wheelbase. Another thing we added is this, it was a bought-in chain guide, and I've made the mounts which are welded to the bottom of the swinging arm. That's to help keep the chain where it needs to be on the chain ring. Custom footrest mounts and footrests. We've got a slightly longer gear lever than around last year, so I can change gear a bit easier. Moving upwards, fuel tank, aluminium fuel cell. That was made, well, I cut it out and it was welded by Tom Birchall of the Birchall Racing brothers, who race the sidecars at the TT World Champions. You can see the Vanoni Moto Officina there. He's the main guy. He's the reason I have this bike. And the other sponsor that you can see there, Devitt Insurance, who allow Max to do what he does. So moving on, the engine is based on a 900 Monster. I say based on because it's not standard. I believe that they are SS heads, high compression GAE pistons, I think they are. The flywheel is a machine down 600 flywheel, and basically all that uses is the pickups to power the total loss ignition system. Total loss meaning that there is no charging circuit. You have to charge the battery up, and that fires the coils, which fires the spark plugs. The other parts of the engine that I should probably mention is the Mikuni FCR 41 flat slide carburetors and the California Cycle Works coils that we are currently using. And as we move around, we have got neck and handlebars. It's Flattrack specific handlebar, lovely pink grips, and that is a 999 Ducati master cylinder. I actually had a little bit of a crash getting off the stand, so I need to get a new blade for that. No problems. The most up-to-date, current, this season's number board fitted, which we fitted at the race at the weekend, still with a bit of muck on there. Sponsored by Royal Enfield this year is the DTRA Championship. Forks are Scrambler Ducati. They've been stroked by the kind hands of Ben at BG Motorsport. Wheels and tyres, we're running Maxxis tyres at the minute. That may change depending what circuit we're going to. And the wheels, I believe, are Morad. The rims are Morad, yes, with 2.5 inch wide front and a 3-inch wide rear. They are laced up to Ducati GT 1000 hubs. Don't quote me on that one. I'll find out for that one, and I'll put a little something in the video to confirm that. As we go around the other side, Domino throttle, Domino controls for the starter, onboard starter. Tend not to use that, that's only for emergencies. I'll show you why. And the cutout there, there's a plunger style speedway cutout. That's if you fall off, that pulls out and it kills the engine dead. Okay, the reason I don't use the starter very much, to save the battery, we have a little tab added there. That's the positive feed to the starter motor. So positive from a slave battery onto there. Good earth on the bolt here. Use that and that fires it straight up. Fuel line disconnected, just to save it from draining all the fuel into the bike. Unfortunately, the first casualty of this year, the clutch cover came to bits. Not an issue as such, it's a dry clutch, but yeah, that's going to need something doing, probably replacing. The video I made before where I detailed the rear sets, you can see that's all mounted up, mated to an all bike engineering brake disc provided by Vanoni, and with married to I believe a Panigale, when I can get my words out, Panigale caliper. Exhaust, all custom made. That was all fitted to last year's motorbike, but we had to modify it slightly just so we could get it into that little gap just in there. You can see a bit of the mud still on the bike. Again, rear suspension worked over by BG Motorsport. And there we have it. I'll give you a little rider's eye view. On here, GoPro mount. Well, this, if people are into the racing, might understand what I've written on here. Heats and what your positions are when you line up for that heat. Oliver Brindley. Fuel filler. Hidden under the seat. Keeps everything nice and neat. Another massive shout out. John Seeley, Breaking Point Images, again, does great work for the flat track scene in the UK. Really good guy.